channel. So in this video, I am actually going to talk about Graves' disease and pregnancy. Finally, I know. So just to give you a little back history about my husband and myself, we met when I was 17 and he was 19 going on 20. We got married in April of 2009. I was 21, he was 23, almost 24 years old, so we were very young. Living in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. So we decided we did not want to start a family right away. We wanted to wait until we bought our first house, which we ended up doing June 2011. There were some house projects that we wanted to do. The house really didn't need a whole lot, but we wanted to make it our own before, bringing kids in. So we started working on house projects, and then in February 2012, I ended up losing my job and was out of work for a total of 6 months out of that year. So that happened. I worked temp jobs just here and there just to kind of bring in some income. And then I finally started working again full-time in January 2013. So January 2013 started working again, and then June 2013 is when I was diagnosed with the Graves' disease. And we had wanted to start a family. We had discussed, in January, once I had started working again, that we would maybe start trying in the fall of 2013. And unfortunately, with the diagnosis of the Graves' disease that June, that kind of put starting a family on hold for us, and we decided we'd wait and finish some house projects that we were working on and try and get my health back to where it needed to be, at least get some stable levels, thyroid levels, before starting a family. So we decided to hold off in 2014, and then finally we decided that summer 2015 we were going to start a family. My levels had been pretty normal and consistent, and we were finishing up some of the major projects that we were working on as far as floors in the house go. So we decided that we wanted a spring or early summer baby. I know a lot of you out there are probably like, you can't plan it like that. Well, I was determined that is what I wanted. So we have a lot of family birthdays in the months of September all the way through January. That is birthday season for us. Like, everybody in our family has birthdays through then. The only people who do not have birthdays between September and January is myself and my sister-in-law. Both of our birthdays are in April, and mine and my husband's anniversary is in April. So we decided we wanted to start trying in August 2015. So I actually stopped taking birth control. I'd been on birth control, by the way, since I was 17 years old. And I stopped taking my birth control July 2014. So I stopped taking my birth control a year before we decided to start trying. So fast forward to this past August 2015, we did officially start trying. My cycles, even with the thyroid disorder, my cycles have always been pretty regular. My endocrinologist was even surprised that my cycles, I had no interruptions in them whatsoever. I wasn't missing periods. They came pretty much monthly. I was on the birth control, Seasonique or Seasonal, whatever. Whichever one only gives you, 4 periods a year. And with that, they were regular. Towards the end, though, they were a little off. I was getting them when I shouldn't, or I'd get them too soon, and then I wouldn't have them the week I was supposed to have them. So that is a main contribution as to why I stopped taking my birth control almost a year in advance. But I also wanted my body to get back to a regular cycle monthly, so that way when we started trying, we started trying. So we started trying in August 2015. I was using one of those period tracker apps that tell you when you ovulate, and I kind of knew by that it wasn't going to be accurate with ovulation. So, because my cycles are not 28, well, they weren't 28-day cycles. They were either 22 days or 25 days. It was one of the two. So I kept track of that for a while, and they were every 25 days at that point. So I knew that I was ovulating sooner than what the period tracker was defaulted to, which was a 14-day. So August we started trying, did not get pregnant in August. Got my period that last week of August. And so I decided I was going to go ahead and buy an ovulation kit just to see when I was ovulating, because I mean, honestly, when your cycles aren't technically 28 days, you don't know. You could be ovulating a whole lot sooner, which I'm sure, I was pretty certain that's what it was. So let me see. As soon as my period ended, which my periods were 5 to 6 days. As soon as my period ended, I started using the ovulation kit. I ovulated on day 10 instead of day 14. So we made sure to take care of business that week. And that was the first week of September that I ovulated. I think it was September 9th or September 10th, one of those 2 days. I think it was the 9th actually. So I then played the waiting game like everybody does. My husband's birthday is September 19th. He ended up having his 30th birthday this year. So I tested the morning of his birthday, and it was a negative test. And I knew that it was too early to test. I wasn't supposed to get my period until that following Thursday. But I just tested anyways just to see. We had a huge party for him, had a great time. That Sunday I did not test, and then that Monday he and I had taken off work to spend some time together, and I remember just being exhausted. We laid down on the couch. I ended up taking like a 2-hour nap. I woke up and my back was hurting me, like my lower back hurt, and I had pain where you would normally have your period cramps, but it wasn't like a crampy pain, it was more like a pulling type pain. And I was like, something's off. So I went ahead and went into the bathroom and shut the door and took a clear blue digital test, the ones that say pregnant or not pregnant. And sure enough, it popped up almost immediately pregnant. So that Saturday, not pregnant. Monday, pregnant. That was September 21st that I found out I was pregnant. So apparently we are very fertile people. I'm very fortunate that it did not take us a very long time to conceive. And I know so many people out there with this disease, and it takes them years, and they have been trying for so long who cannot get pregnant, and my heart completely goes out to you. I think what helped me was the fact that my Graves' disease was, had been managed for so long, and that my levels were within normal range when I did conceive, and that I wanted my body to be in a healthy condition. I didn't want birth control to affect anything like that. So luckily, I'd stopped taking that a year before. So, my periods were regular. Like I said, the thyroid never affected my cycles anyways, so that wasn't an issue. And I think it helps that apparently we're just pretty fertile people as well. September 21st, I got pregnant. Back in, now I'm going to rewind a little bit. Back in August, I had an appointment with my endocrinologist, and I told her at that appointment that my husband and I were trying to conceive. And I knew that when trying to conceive, you need to be on a different medication than what I was taking. Like I said before in my last video, I was on methimazole, and that is what I'd been using to control my levels. When you are in the early stages of pregnancy, in your first trimester, you cannot take methimazole. It's been linked to facial deformities in the baby. So she switched me then, back in August, to propylthiouracil, and its shortened abbreviation is PTU. So she went ahead and switched me to the PTU immediately, told me to go ahead and switch since we were trying. and she wanted me to meet with a endocrinologist who also handles maternal fetal medicine. So basically she's an endocrinologist that's also an OBGYN. The closest one to us was 2.5 hours away, up at the University of Virginia. So my endocrinologist said she would make me an appointment just to speak with her. She was like, whether you're pregnant or not pregnant yet, I just want you to speak with her, learn the risks, learn, you know, more about your levels while pregnant. She was like, because there's only so much information I can give you about it. So I agreed to it and said, okay, we would go. So she ended up getting the appointment scheduled for September 24th. So fast forward to September 21st, I'm pregnant. So September 24th, we go all the way up to the University of Virginia, which is in Charlottesville, and meet with the doctor there, who was very nice. She sat us down. She explained everything to us as far as how your thyroid levels react to pregnancy. She did warn us, you know, because I wasn't even technically 4 weeks pregnant when I met with her. She said, I do have to warn you that you are a high risk for miscarriage. She said that with Graves' disease, you have a 20% chance. I think with a normal pregnancy, it's 15%, before the baby has a heartbeat. So, and then once the baby has a heartbeat, it, you know, the percentage drops. So we did meet with her and speak with her about that. Let me see. She explained that basically your TSH number while pregnant, over the course of your pregnancy, will decline because your pituitary gland also produces your HCG. So your HCG goes up with pregnancy, so your pituitary gland doesn't have to make as much TSH, so that goes down. She explained some other things to us, but basically you can look. Alright, sorry guys, apparently the video turned off on its own. So basically anything that we discussed with the doctor at the university, you can find most of that online. It was very nice of her to sit down and kind of draw us a graph of all of that, kind of explain everything to us. So let me see, met with her September 24th and did not have any doctor's appointment scheduled until the first week of November, when I would be 9 weeks pregnant. So October, I did have blood drawn, and my endocrinologist checked it, but I didn't have to go in and see her. She said that she would call if she needed to. She did not, so I assume my levels were normal. So all of October was pretty nerve-wracking for the most part, but we went in the first week of November when I was 9 weeks, and just the doctor did the ultrasound and said, yes, your baby has a heartbeat and everything looks great and she looks on schedule. I think I was measuring, like, I went in at 9 weeks 1 day or 9 weeks 2 days, and she was measuring like 9 weeks 4 days. So we were right on schedule. And her heart rate, I think the baby's heart rate was like 162. So very, very normal. Just cried just a little bit at the appointment just because I was so relieved that everything was fine. And so far everything has been pretty great since then. I have had morning sickness. I would say that my thyroid symptoms more so mimic the Hashimoto's side more than the Graves' disease side, just because Hashimoto, the hypothyroidism and pregnancy symptoms are very similar. I would say like the exhaustion, just being tired all the time, that can be linked to Hashimoto's for hypothyroidism, and it's also linked to pregnancy. Constipation, that is another one. Yes, I have suffered from that during this pregnancy, and a lot of women do, and sorry if it's TMI, but you know, I just want to be open and honest with you guys. But so pretty much you know, my doctor told me that, you know, it's very hard to differentiate between pregnancy symptoms and thyroid related symptoms, but you know, if I ever felt, you know, like I needed to have my levels done, just go in and have them checked and they would look at them for me. And so far everything has been pretty good. I will say that the PTU that I started middle of August, because that's when we started trying, all the way through December, well, through the first week of December, because that's when my first trimester ended, was pretty rough. I won't say that it was rough. It was tolerable. The PTU, the propylthiouracil that I was taking, anytime I would take it, which I would have to take it 3 different times a day, would leave like a copper taste in my mouth, almost like you're sucking on a mouthful of pennies, and it's really strong, and it would last for anywhere from like 10 to 15 minutes after taking it, and there wasn't really anything you could do about it. That was pretty gross, and I think the PTU made my nails brittle. Like they were cracking a little bit, and they weren't growing like you would expect your nails to grow in pregnancy when you're taking prenatal vitamins, which I started taking those when I started trying to conceive. And once I started the methimazole again, my nails were back to normal and healthy again. So I think the PTU had a little bit to do with that. But other than that, it wasn't terrible. I would prefer to be back on methimazole. Like second trimester, the day I started my second trimester, I switched right back to my methimazole because I knew that worked for me and it was great. And I had levels checked again a couple weeks after starting it back, and thyroid levels were fine. And I've had my levels done every 4 weeks since getting pregnant, just to make sure that they are stable, and they are still normal range. Last time I went in, TSH was a little bit low, but again, they expect that because your HCG is going up. And that, so far, is pretty much it. Like I said, I've suffered from exhaustion, constipation. I did have morning sickness from about week 8 all the way through, I don't know, maybe the 12th or 13th week. Once I had my first trimester, it was great. Here recently, I've had like pain like around my like pubic bone and groin area, but when I asked my doctor, my OBGYN, about that, she said that is completely normal. Everything is just stretching out, getting ready to have a baby. So everything is good so far. I am as of today, I am 24 weeks pregnant. The baby is doing great. We found out at week 16 that it was a girl. We didn't have any extra genetic testing done or anything like that. We're not considered technically high risk, just a little bit higher risk because of the Graves' disease. But my Graves' disease, like I said, has been managed really well. So we don't have too much to worry about. I did have the testing done in the second trimester, and I can't remember what the test is called. But it's the one that they test you for, like, they test the baby for like the Down syndrome or the trisomy 21 or 19, or I can't remember which one it is. Anyways, they test them for the trisomy and the Down syndrome. That came back normal. Baby's heart rate has been normal the whole time. She started out 162, which is higher when they're smaller, and it goes down a little bit. So she went from like 162 to in the 150s, and then this last appointment, I think she was 142. I think is what the doctor said. 147, 142, something around that. At the 20-week anatomy scan, they said that she was 76th percentile. So for 20 weeks, I guess she was a pretty big baby. Hopefully she's not too big when she comes out, but as long as she's healthy, that's all that matters. With Graves' disease, they do say, or Graves' disease or Hashimoto's, they do say that your baby could come out with an enlarged thyroid. If that is the case, then they do have to trach the baby immediately so they can breathe, because the enlarged thyroid can put too much pressure on their windpipe and they won't be able to breathe on their own. So besides that, everything's going good. My doctor said that she doesn't think the baby will have an enlarged thyroid. Everything looks good. She's healthy so far. fingers crossed the rest of the pregnancy goes well. Besides just the little bit of pain, I really haven't had too much back pain or anything like that. So far has been a great pregnancy, knock on wood. If somebody said pregnancy will be like this every time, I would say absolutely. I will do this, you know, as many times as I possibly can, because this is really not all that bad. Again, I haven't given birth yet, so don't hold me to that. But I think that's it for this video for the most part. If there's anything I've left out, I'll try and put it below, in the description below. If you have any questions, just comment, ask me. If you want to email me directly because you know you don't want it on there, you can email me at the email address that's listed in the description below if you have any questions or anything like that. You know, I hope a lot of people find this video, and I hope that it helps them. Before me and my husband started trying, you know, I got on the internet and tried to do as much research as I could about, you know, the Graves' disease and pregnancy. And I got on YouTube to see if there were other people out there who were in the same position I was, or somebody who had Graves' disease and was going through pregnancy, and I really couldn't find a whole lot out there. I've seen stories of women, you know, who were trying to get pregnant who had Graves' disease, but, you know, hadn't had any luck yet. So, my battery's getting ready to die. So anyways, guys, I hope this video helps you and reassures you that you can have a normal pregnancy with Graves' disease that has been managed by doctors. Again, if you have any questions, comment below, message me. Just if you like the video, like it and subscribe, and I will see you at the next video. Bye, guys.